Let's take a look at some cost problems. All right, so we got 4 of these. So people really do get hung up on these. These are all like word problems. And so let's kind of go through them. So the first one is an overtime question. All right, so very applicable. Like if we're getting paid overtime in our job, wouldn't it be nice to know how it works out? Okay, so I get paid $10 an hour for the first 40 hours, and I worked 50. Okay, so, and like your traditional job, if you're not getting this, you're getting paid per hour, you might want to think about a different job. If you're getting paid $10 an hour, you work 50 hours. The first 40 hours, you get paid that $10 an hour rate. And the final 10 hours, you get paid 1.5, right? As we'll work on how to calculate that out here in a second. Okay, so for the first 40 hours, 10 times 40. If they don't give you this information, like that overtime is 1.5, that's what you assume. That's kind of standard really across a lot of industries. And then 10 times 40 is 400. Okay, so it's $10 an hour for 40 hours. Okay, now, so when I get paid time and a half, that's going to be 10 times 1.5. So this is my overtime. 10 1.5, that equals 15. So when I'm working overtime, making 15 an hour. Okay, so that's my overtime number. Okay, so I worked 10 more hours at 15 an hour. And 10 times 15, 150. Okay, so, and then to get your number for the week, you just got to add these two numbers together. So you have 400 for your first 40 hours, 150 for your final 10 hours. You add those two together, and made $550 a week. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. Overtime type questions. Very, very common question. Key point knowing overtime equals 1.5, and then how to multiply that out. Okay, what do we got next? Okay, so this is like say this is a credit card, right? I mean, it could be anything that you owe, right? But you owe 2,000, right? 2K, 2,000. I mean, same thing. Okay, so I owe 2,000, and I have 6 months to pay it off. Owe $2,000. I have 6 months to pay it off, and one more part. Paid $800 today. Just wanted to get a good head start on all this, so I paid off $800. Okay. Now, what is my monthly payment going to be if I want to pay the same amount every month for the next 6 months to pay this off? Okay. So we have all the information we need. So I started with 2,000 that I owe, right? Then I just paid off 800. Okay, and so that is 2,000 minus 800 is I got 1,200 left to pay, and I got to do it in 6 months. So in 6 equal installments, 1,200 divided by 6 is 200. So I would owe $200 per month for 6 months, and then I'd be completely paid off. Hopefully that makes sense how I went and did all that. If you ever have any questions, so these are all both YouTube videos and in the app. So in the app, it ends up being customized to you, which just in YouTube it's not, but on YouTube. If you have any questions, just post them and we'll get somebody to answer them for you. If there's any part that doesn't make sense. Okay, we got 2 left. All right, $25 meal. So this is a tip thing. I spent 25 bucks, and then we're going 15% tip. Personally, I always go 20, unless I really like them. Who knows? But anyway, 15 is fine. Nobody will hate you for a 15% tip. So they want to know what is the total. Okay, so how do we calculate that? All right, so I started with 25 for tip. I'm just going to multiply it by whatever that percentage is, 15, right? 0.15. So 25 times 0.15 is 3.75. Okay, so if I just want to know the tip, there I go. $3.75. Now if I want to know what is the total, right, then I would take my initial number, 25, add it to 3.75, and that would get me to $28.75. Okay, there's our tip total, right? And we got one more. All these are just sort of normal stuff that happens all the time. Right? Go out to a restaurant, gotta calculate some amount of tip. If I'm working overtime, gotta know. Well, I don't have to know, but it would be nice to know what am I making once I start working overtime. And paying off credit cards and things. All right. So there's a car payment. Another, all these things are just regular life things. Okay, so I got to put $1,500 down for this car. Right, doing car payments, and then I'm going to pay $150 a month. For 36 months. Okay, so it's a 3-year payment. And so what is that total going to be at the end of 36 months? Okay, so we started off with our 1,500. Okay, plus I'm paying $150 a month. Right? Times 36. So now, in all honesty, usually there's like a dealer's fee or something else that's on top of it, but that might be included in the down payment, possibly. Okay, so that 1,500, so we'll carry that one down here, plus, all right, 150 times 36, that's 5,400. Okay, and if you add those two numbers together, we end up at $6,900, and so that's what we actually paid over the course of 3 years for our car. Once we're done with the 3 years, assuming that we bought it and it wasn't like a lease or something like that, then we own the car at that point. Okay, so those are some typical type of cost problems, right? So we went with overtime. Remember, in overtime means 1.5 times. We did the credit card payments. We calculated some tip, and then this last one here we did the car payment.